Moving toward the complex sentence, today we'll learn about the complex sentences. What are complex sentences? Complex mean complicated or पेचीदा. So complex sentences are those sentences which consist of one main clause and one more subordinate clause. It means that in your complex sentence you have one main or independent clause, and after that you will have one or more than one subordinate clause. What is subordinate clause? Subordinate clause is actually the dependent clause that depend on another clause and completes its meaning. So there is some example of complex sentences. First example we have where we rested when evening came. Now we rested when evening came. Now this when evening came is a subordinate clause and we rested is an independent clause. So we rested is main clause and when evening came is dependent or subordinating clause. It depends upon we rested. Without we rested, when evening came is incomplete and it's not giving its true meaning. Next example we have I know where she lives. Here I know is main clause or independent clause and where she lives is dependent or subordinate clause. It means that where she lives is the answer of I know. So that's why where she lives, this is incomplete without I know. Second is he was exhausted when I reached. He was exhausted when I reached. He was exhausted is independent or main clause and when I reached is dependent or subordinate clause. In this way you can say this. In your complex sentence you have one independent or main clause and you have one or more than one subordinate or dependent clause. So this is all about the complex sentences.